What's up, everyone? This is Rayuka here, and today I'm talking about Soul Calibur 6. At least the characters that I would like to see be as guest characters in Soul Calibur 6 if it was to happen. Now, this was a list that I thought of, and if one of these characters can make it in the game as a guest character, that will be amazing. But the chances of that is really 50-50 because you just never know with Soul Calibur. So, I'm gonna go through about 10 characters that I feel that could fit in a Soul Calibur 6 game in some sort of way. But before I get into that, I am gonna do my honorable mentions because not every character that I'm gonna mention is going to possibly not make it into Soul Calibur 6. But the characters that I will be talking about in the honorable mentions will be console exclusive characters. Now, I'm not a big fan of console exclusive characters because I feel like it cuts out from the game. But if it happens, I'm just gonna mention the names that I feel will sort of fit in Soul Calibur 6. So the first one I'm gonna mention is Kratos from God of War, the latest God of War. The one where he's holding the axe. I think that makes a lot of sense, even though he has appeared before in Soul Calibur as a guest character, but that was on the PSP version. I think seeing a new iteration of him appear would make a lot of sense. Horizon Zero Dawn's Aloy, she makes a lot of sense as well as a guest character in Soul Calibur for a console exclusive for PlayStation. So yeah, those two. And then there's the Hunter from Bloodborne. That will be an interesting character to see in Soul Calibur 6 if that was to ever happen as a console exclusive. And now moving on to Microsoft. The first one is an easy one for me, and that is the Arbiter from Halo. Even though that character has appeared already in a fighting game such as Killer Instinct, I think seeing that character in Soul Calibur as a guest character with his plasma sword would be crazy in the Soul Calibur arena. And the second character that I can try to think of will be a character from Lost Odyssey, but the chances of that is like slim to none. I just don't see that happening. But if that did happen, that will make sense for an Xbox exclusive character in Soul Calibur 6. So that's it on that front. Now I'm going to move on to the main list of characters that I feel should be guest characters in Soul Calibur 6. Now that I'm done with the honorable mentions, of course. So let's get right into this. So my first draft pick here would be Samurai Shodown's Haimaru. Now, the reason why I picked this character is because he's the main face of the Samurai Shodown series. Samurai Shodown is also a fighting-based 2D game with swords. And it's not the first time Namco Bandai and SNK have worked together on something. I mean, a while ago, they did add Geese Howard from the Fatal Fury series into Tekken 7. So I wouldn't be too surprised if a Samurai Shodown character will appear in Soul Calibur 6, but it will be really cool to see it happen nonetheless. Never know. Hopefully it happens, but hey, time will tell. Anyways, on to the next character. So the next character I want to mention is a character from Capcom, and that is from Star Gladiator Dash Plasma Sword, and it's Hayato. Hayato is a character mainly known from the Dreamcast game Plasma Sword, but it was pretty much Capcom's attempt at a Soul Calibur-like game set in space, but didn't really work out that well. And Capcom never really re-released these games or continued them, actually. They just kind of stood floating in time. But Hayato, for those who have played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, is pretty much recognized from that. Most people that I know anyway that know of the character pretty much knows him from Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but outside of that, he hasn't been seen in any other crossover games besides Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and his own fighting game, which he was the main protagonist in Star Gladiator and Plasma Sword, which released on the Dreamcast. But yeah, it would be cool to see him in Soul Calibur. I think he'll fit in well, but you never know. Anyways, on to the next character. So the next character I have on my list here is from SNK's The Last Blade, Kire. He's the main character in The Last Blade, and he has a transformation, as you can see, with blonde hair. His normal state is just him with regular black hair, but yeah, he transforms and he seems to have more power and pretty much summons thunder and whatnot. I mean, it would be cool to see a character like that in Soul Calibur. I think he'll fit in well, but time will tell, and that's just a suggestion. And now on to the next character. So this character is an interesting character to me because over the years this character has been requested but never happened, and that is Team Ninja's Ninja Gaiden's Ryu Hayabusa. This character will fit so perfectly in Soul Calibur in my opinion, and he has been requested over the years, but it never happened. And it would be cool to see this character in his latest iteration in Soul Calibur. And I'm not talking about what was last seen of him. I'm talking about like if the rumors are true that Team Ninja is making another Ninja Gaiden game, it would be kind of smart on the marketing aspect to, you know, throw in the latest version of Ryu and then add him as a guest character, and then obviously later on build up that hype for the release of the next Ninja Gaiden, if any of that's true, but referring to Ninja Gaiden, the rumored Ninja Gaiden game, of course. But it would be cool to see Ryu nonetheless in Soul Calibur. I think he fits perfectly, and it just makes sense. The true Dragon Blade up against Soul Edge and Soul Calibur, that would be crazy. Anyways, on to the next character. So the next character I have here is yet again from Capcom, and that is Orion Misha's Dawn of Dreams main protagonist, Soki Yuri. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's obviously the main character in Dawn of Dreams, and he has appeared in a crossover title before, and I believe that was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. But it would be cool to see him appear as a guest character in Soul Calibur 6. I think he'll fit perfectly. Yet again, another character that fits in that kind of game, especially being that of his special attacks and things like that. He has quite a variety of moves to offer, and it will be interesting to see a character like that come back. But as of late, it seems like Capcom won't touch anything on Misha, so it's almost wishful thinking on my end to hope that a character like that will be in a Soul Calibur game, but who knows. Anyways, on to the next character. So this one was a tough pick, but at the same time, when I think about it, I think Namco Bandai has easy access to this character, and that is Dark Souls Arthurius. I think he will fit perfectly in Soul Calibur 6, and being that he's a knight of the Abyss, or Abyss Walker, however you want to portray him as. He was a boss character in Dark Souls, and I think he could be just as boss in Soul Calibur 6. I mean, he could have some mean attacks that do some serious damage, and he fits perfectly, and it'll be quick access when I think about to Namco Bandai if they want to throw in someone quick into Soul Calibur 6 last minute before actually looking into another guest character later on, possibly, if that was to happen. So it's just a mere suggestion, but I think it's a good idea at the same time. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Anyways, on to the next character. So this was kind of an interesting pick for me because a while ago, for those who don't know, Harada went to Arc System Works, and didn't really go into details of what was the conversations he had with them and what went down. But that was around the time when he announced Geese Howard for Tekken. And when I think back on it, I'm like, yeah, you know, Soul Calibur's been in development for quite some time, and obviously one of the guys that was on his team is running Soul Calibur. So it makes me wonder, what if we might see a Arc System Works character, and if that, will it be a character from Blaze Blue? And if it's a character from Blaze Blue, most likely it will be Ragna, the Blood Edge. It just makes sense. Ragna is the main face of Blaze Blue. He'll fit somewhat in Soul Calibur 6. I mean, depending on how they do his moves and if he has a transformation and what he could do, it would be really interesting to see a character like Ragna in Soul Calibur 6. And it's a possibility, being that Blaze Blue is not that old of a game. It's still relevant, even though right now is relevant for controversial reasons. But it's still relevant, and it's a game that's known right now. So it's not known in a big way, but sort of known. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a character like Ragna appear in Soul Calibur. It would just be cool to see him in 3D and see how that turns out, if that was to happen. But hey, who knows? Anyways, on to the next character. So, as you can see here, if I was to hypothetically choose a character from Arc System Works as a guest character for Soul Calibur 6, I would automatically choose Guilty Gear's Soul Bad Guy. Soul Bad Guy has a lot to offer when it comes to combat. I mean, this guy has a dragon install. For those who don't know, that's like his transformation, and it does crazy damage. And imagine fighting him in Soul Calibur 6, and then that happens, and how will that look, and how crazy the fight will turn out. It'll just be nuts, and it will be interesting to see a character like Soul Bad Guy in Soul Calibur 6. I think he will make perfect sense, and I think it will create a lot of fun and memorable battles in there. But that's just a suggestion, and hey, if Namco Bandai was to pick a character from Arc System Works, I think that would be a good pick. Anyways, on to the next one. So the next character, as you can see here, is Square Enix's Nier Automata 2B. She just makes perfect sense from a marketing standpoint. I mean, she's still very popular. Nier Automata was a very popular game, sold very well. And if people were to see a character like this in Soul Calibur 6, especially people that played Nier Automata, I'm pretty sure they will go out and buy this game just to play her and see how she plays. And in a sense, I think she will actually fit in Soul Calibur 6. I mean, in a weird way, I don't know how her combat will be, but it'll probably be very crazy. I mean, if you play Nier Automata, the combat was very fast and very fluid. And yeah, I think she could lay out some serious damage, especially with the weapons she has. And who knows how they'll do the special, if she has a special, which most likely she will, if she was to be a guest character in Soul Calibur 6. But yeah, I think having her as a guest character is kind of a no-brain decision there. I mean, it's common sense. It will sell, it will make sales. It wouldn't be shocking, but it will be very interesting to see nonetheless. To be show up in Soul Calibur 6, and she fits. She does in a weird way. Yeah. Anyways, on to the final character on my list. As you can see here, my number one pick on my list as a guest character for Soul Calibur 6 will be Devil May Cry 4 Nero. Now, the reason why I picked Nero is because, one, he hasn't been in any fighting games, surprisingly. I haven't seen him in none of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, and nothing that I can really think of that he's appeared in that has to do with fighting. So if there was going to be a guest character in Soul Calibur 6 that would, to me, fit perfectly, will be Nero. I mean, he has a double trigger, he'll transform, he'll do some crazy moves, who knows what. I mean, he just really does fit in there. And the other reason why I picked Nero is because, it's crazy as it sounds from a marketing standpoint too, because if it is true, hypothetically, if they're making another Devil May Cry game, and if the rumors are true that Nero is going to be in there, from a marketing point, you want to start building hype for this game. So why not add a character that people will see down the line, yet again, in a sequel to a game, right? So why not add the latest iteration of Nero in Soul Calibur 6, so then people get an idea of what they're seeing, what they're playing, and then when they obviously get to the next Devil May Cry, they most likely won't play the same, but they got an idea of, hey, this is what Nero looks like now. We already know what we're getting when we play the game a little bit, and that'll play out in its own way. But I think it'll be interesting to see Nero in Soul Calibur. I mean, and on top of that, he hasn't appeared in any fighting game. Why not add him? He has a sword, he has a gun, he has a transformation, he has a mix of everything. He'll fit perfectly in Soul Calibur 6. And I think it'll create for interesting situations when it comes to combating him in the game. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up my list for guest characters that I would like to see, or at least one of them anyway, in Soul Calibur 6. So that is the end of today's video. Of course, there won't be 10 guest characters in Soul Calibur 6. There'll be like probably 1 or 2 at most. But if I had to choose a guest character for Soul Calibur 6, obviously I would pick between the list that I put out in this video. But yet again, there's a lot of characters, honestly. I mean, if you're gonna look outside of the video game realm, I mean, you got comics, you got movies, you got anime. There's all sorts of people and characters that use swords, that do crazy things. I mean, you got Kairos from the Kairos anime. Then you got if you're talking about movies, Highlander. You got the main character in that film. I mean, there's literally a lot of characters Namco Bandai can go through if they want to pick guest characters to see how that works out. I mean, they could surprise everyone and add Gamora from Marvel. I mean, even though it wouldn't make sense, they could even do that if they want to surprise people, honestly. Oh, man. But anyways, yeah, that was my list. Feel free to comment down below characters or guest characters you would like to see if you were to pick up Soul Calibur 6, or guest characters you would like to see anyways. But yeah, feel free to drop a like, and if you like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. It's greatly appreciated if you do. There's a lot of content here, but only subscribe if you like what you see, of course. And yeah, as always, this is Rayuka here saying thanks for watching, and until next time, everyone, sayonara.